Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the Italian Football Podcast. I'm Carlo Garganese, reacting to an absolutely dramatic Milan Derby on Sunday evening at San Siro. An 89th minute winner from Matteo Gabbia, of all people, gives Milan a shock, but absolutely deserved 2-1 win over Inter. Nobody could possibly have predicted that before kickoff. Pretty much everybody expected an Inter win. This was supposed to be the last game for Paulo Fonseca before he was sacked, and he has saved. Not only has he saved his job, but potentially turned around Milan's hopes for this season in what was an absolutely fantastic performance from Milan, completely out of nowhere. Nobody could, as I said, could have possibly have seen this. Could have seen this coming. Milan were the better team pretty much from start to finish. Only really a 20-minute period after Inter got the equaliser, where Inter were on top. But other than that, Milan started great. They dominated the first quarter of the game, and then they completely dominated pretty much the entirety of the second half, creating chance after chance. And it really would have been a travesty if Milan hadn't won this game. So you have to take your hat off to Paulo Fonseca. He unleashed a surprise 4-4-2 formation. Tammy Abraham and Alvaro Morata up front together. Rafael Leao in a left midfield position. Matteo Gabbia starting at centre back with Pavlovic dropped. Also dropped was Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And what it produced was a Milan team that finally, for the first time under Fonseca, looked compact. They looked balanced. They seemed to understand their movements. They weren't being cut through at all. I mean, Inter really created very, very few, maybe only really one clear chance in this game. And but when they had the ball, they used it well. They were dangerous. They created so many chances. They were fluid, and they looked like a team. This was a team this season. Milan just have not looked like a team at all. They've looked like a group of individuals picked up off the street. Structurally and tactically, they've been a complete mess. But they looked like a team, and there was also team spirit. They were all fighting for each other. They showed a great mentality. They more than matched Inter for fight and for intensity. They seemed to want it more than Inter, which you never would expect. They were playing for the shirt, they were playing for the fans, and they seemed to be playing for a manager who, by all accounts, according to everyone, had lost the dressing room. It didn't seem like that based on this game. And Milan, they finally got the winner. I mean, well, first of all, let's say that they took the lead in the first half. A wonderful goal from Christian Pulisic, who burst through and put Milan ahead in the 10th minute. Pulisic is having a great season. He's got 5 goal contributions now already, even in a what has been a struggling Milan team. He's had a great week individually because he scored against Liverpool last season. The one thing you could say against Pulisic, despite his good numbers, is he didn't do very well in the big games. Now he's scoring against the big teams, big opponents as well. So wonderful from Pulisic. Inter, though, equalised through Dimarco. Wonderful team move. The kind of trademark Inter move, from the crossfield, lofted pass from the right to left. Dimarco, first time volley into the path of Lautaro, who passed it back to him, and then Dimarco buried it into the bottom corner. Kind of a little bit similar in the way to the goal that he scored for Italy. Ball from right to left, and then Dimarco playing and giving it and getting it back and finishing. And you think then the Inter are going to come on strong, but Milan, they showed good mentality. They showed fight, and they came out in the second half and they completely dominated the second half. And how it took till the 89th minute for them to get a winner. I mean, Leao missed 2 huge chances, including a one-on-one. Abraham missed a sitter. And then finally, 89th minute, free kick from Reijnders, who was my man of the match, crossed it in, and Gabbia, who was fantastic in defence. He didn't put a foot wrong all game, and he heads home. I mean, a boyhood Milan fan. You couldn't write a script like this. And there were, like I said, lots of great individual performances. Pulisic, Theo Hernandez was great at left back with those rampaging runs forward. Gabbia was superb, and he's rarely disappointed when he's played for Milan. To be honest, I think he should be the starter now because, in many ways, I think he's more reliable and steady than the other partners to Tomori. He's somebody that will keep his position. He reads the game pretty well. And I know there's a lot of people at Milan who felt that he should have even got a call up for the Euros. So, yeah, I think he deserves a run in the team now, especially given how compact Milan looked, having looked so shaky in defence this season. In midfield, Reijnders partnering Fofana in the centre of midfield. They dominated that midfield, and I thought Reijnders was outstanding. He went on one run. He has these little bursting runs. If he can show the discipline to go to get together with his undoubted talent, then there is such a great central midfielder there potentially. Even Emerson at right back was pretty good tonight. He got sucked in a little bit for the Dimarco goal, but other than that, he was very, very good. So it's a fantastic night for Milan. And Fonseca, well, he you cannot sack him now. I mean, there were reports that even if Milan won, he would be sacked. But I mean, you cannot sack Fonseca after this performance. He deserves more time now. He should definitely stick with this 4-4-2 formation, and let's see if Milan can now put together a run. Sometimes derbies, the form book goes out of the window. It's now up to Milan and Fonseca to show that this wasn't just Milan rising to the occasion of a derby, but it was, there was method, and it was his tactics, and he's found a formation and a system that works. Let's see in the upcoming games, because now Milan, after what has been such a terrible start to the season, well, Milan, can you believe it, are actually level on points now with Inter in the Serie A table. It's unbelievable, isn't it? They're now joint sixth. Although Atalanta do have to play on Monday. They're joint sixth with Inter on 8 points. They're 3 points off the top of the table. Torino, shock leaders on 11 points. They're only 2 points behind Napoli in second, and they're only 1 point behind Juventus. And so Milan are right there after such a bad start to the season. Milan are right in the fight of things. So everything to play for. Obviously, they had that bad result in the Champions League. They've got to repair a little bit of the damage there, but it's suddenly there's no need to panic anymore. So I have to say, well done to Fonseca. I'm happy for him as well, because by all accounts, everyone I've spoken to say that he's a great guy, and it's nice to see the good guys do well sometimes. And I think his tactics paid off today. He got them playing. But it takes two to tango, of course. And Inter, I mean, I don't know what happened to Inter tonight. I mean, after all the plaudits they've got, not just in Italy, but all over Europe, including in England, which is rare for an Italian team, for the performance they put in against Manchester City, I thought they were absolutely brilliant away at City. Tactical masterclass, we called it, Nimmer and myself. I don't know what happened to them tonight. They were just completely unrecognisable. They didn't match Milan at all in any areas or facets of the game. They didn't match them for desire and will to win, to fight. They didn't match them for intensity. Milan looked fitter and stronger and faster. They, in every area of the pitch, I mean, their attack struggled to really make a dent on. I mean, they created one big chance in this game. Milan created 6 big chances in this game. In midfield, I mean, Barella and Çalhanoğlu were so good against City, against the best centre midfielder in the world, Rodri, and they come up against Reijnders and Fofana here. Fofana, who hadn't had a good start to the season, and they've been dominated here by 2 players. Inter had a 3 there, and Milan had a 2 in midfield, and they got dominated in midfield. And Barella, I mean, he was where was he tonight? And Çalhanoğlu, I mean, where was he? And Mkhitaryan had another really bad game. He's had a poor start to the season, and I think probably now at 35, maybe it's the time to drop him as the kind of like the first choice midfielder, with the likes of Zielinski, who played well against City, and Frattesi waiting in the wings. Really bad. And then Inzaghi subs, I'm not sure when he brought players on. He brought on Aslani, and I don't think that really helped. And then in defence, I mean, you just don't associate a team that Inter, that went to the best attacking team that there is in City, and City barely created much of a chance. Milan opened them up and created 6 clear chances today. I mean, Acerbi, I'm not sure he can play twice a week now. He was fantastic against Erling Haaland, but he was really bad. He really struggled. He looked slow, and Pavard was sloppy, and the way that they got cut through, Milan cut through Inter's defence and opened them up. That you just don't associate that with Inter. They look tired. I mean, they did play a day later than Milan, and obviously they travelled to England, and they played on Wednesday, and Milan played on Tuesday. That probably played a little bit of a role, but at the same time, Inzaghi rotated 5 of the starters from that game, so that shouldn't have been too much. It shouldn't have had too much of an impact. It's not like he played 10 or 11 of those players, so. Yeah, it's really, really surprising just how bad they were, and really, if it wasn't for Sommer, who made some huge saves on Leao especially, and just bad finishing from Milan. I mean, this game should have been over long before. I mean, Inter it would have been a robbery if Inter had got anything from this game. There's very, very little positive to take from this game, other than, I mean, Dimarco. That was a great goal. It was a fantastic team goal, as I said earlier. The volleyed pass to Lautaro, who then assists it back, and Dimarco buries it. I mean, that was a moment of fantastic quality, team quality. But apart from that, it's hard to really find anything to take positively from this game for Inter. Lautaro was a bit better. He's had a slow start to the season. He got an assist, and I thought he was sharp. He had a couple of first-time shots, that snapshots, which were pretty good efforts. But apart from that, it's difficult to find positives. I think Inzaghi, his subs, as I said, we gave him the plaudits. I don't think he had a particularly great game today. He didn't seem to react to what was going on the pitch in the way that he usually does, and he didn't have the answers. And Milan were creating chance after chance, and his subs didn't stem the tide at all. They never managed to really get any control of this game, and Inter lose 6 Derby wins in a row. They could have set the record, and that is ended tonight. So a huge surprise. This often happens in Italy. You usually, the form goes out of the window, the script is torn up, and the script of an Inter win and a Fonseca sacking is torn up, isn't it? And it's this is the drama of football, of Calcio. Is you just can't. Sometimes you just cannot predict these things at all. And there you go. A huge win for Milan, and for Fonseca, and big disappointment for Inter. So there you have it. We will be back for the full show, reviewing the whole weekend on Tuesday, a little bit later, because Nima was at this derby tonight, so it hasn't been a great night for him. He will be back home on Monday evening, so we're going to record first thing on Tuesday, and we'll do the review of all the weekend, including the Juventus versus Napoli, the other huge game of the weekend, plus all the chaos that's going on at Roma with the CEO resigning, although they did get a win. Atalanta are playing on Como, and they can get right back into it. So it's very, very tight at the top of the table. Lots to talk about. So we'll be back on Tuesday for that. Until then, ciao, ciao.